Getting ready to show you guys the orchard. And I'm going to be doing a series on restoring the orchard after a fire. Oh, you can see all the deer marks. Anyhow, we had a big wildfire here in 2014 and it burned a big chunk of our orchard. A lot of the trees, it just burned up the trunk, and some of them, it burned them all completely, like they didn't exist anymore. And you can kind of tell throughout the orchard, the newer trees that I have purchased and some other new ones. And when the wildfire hit, the arborist, because we contacted an arborist because we had so many questions about the orchard and the trees and would they be okay, and you know, just a lot of uncertainties. And I was told to leave the trees be for a few years, let them come out of shock, and then start pruning them and, you know, scrape the cambium layer and see if the trees are still alive. We did that on several, but several, they just burnt right up the trunk, split the trunk, left it wide open for diseases. We should have just cut our losses then and replaced them and cut them down right away, because most of them didn't make it, and we waited many years before we replaced them, and we wasted all that time that we could be getting fruit right now. Another issue I had is I kind of went through this Rocky Mountain tick fever thing for a few years. I did not feel very good. And so I did let a lot of the pruning go. I got really behind on a lot of that stuff. We had a windstorm take out one, we had a deer take out another. And so lots of things happen, and this is a big no-no. One of the problems I had when I was harvesting the fruit was, you can see all the congestion. You got trees touching each other. We made the mistake of not planting them far enough apart, and now they're like growing into each other. We got lower limbs, which is hard to take the zero turn around. And so I will definitely be pruning back a lot of these trees as they go dormant, and one at a time, and I will take you guys with me, and I will show you everything that I've learned on my journey of how to care for fruit trees and how to restore them back after letting them go. And these branches that go up and into the middle part is really not a good thing. These branches going into the other trees is not a good thing. So these are all things that I'm going to have to knock out. And by pruning the trees, I will get much better fruits. It'll be much better for the trees. It'll keep these trees from touching each other, and then at harvest time I will be able to get into the tree and harvest. Look, I left an apple. I don't know how we missed that. Probably because I couldn't get to it. Well, there's actually three little apples. Huh. But I have a tool that I can hardly get in there and get the apples. But look at this. Look at this. These are just things you don't want. You can tell where I pruned it in the past, but then it just kind of took off and I didn't catch it, and now that's going to be really hard to manage. It would have been better if I would have taken care of it each season and pruned it back pretty good. I wouldn't have these bigger limbs to deal with, which is going to be harder on the cutters or have to get a saw. Not really a good thing. Some of these trees I have had pruned back, and then this last year I didn't, because we were putting in that greenhouse. And that did take up a lot of my time. There's a lot of factors into getting behind on your farm. And you do reap the repercussions of that. Because then you have these trees that are just out of control. And they need to be managed really well. And it looks like I got some more damage here. This is not good. I need to take that off. Kind of at the joint. Try not to get into that. If I find that it's going to tear that up, it's better to cut it right there, because you don't want this open to where borers can get in and disease can set in. So I will definitely need to be cutting that off. And this tree's already got some issues anyway. Tried to paint it. It really might not make it, because once they get that, we do have a woodpecker that comes through and he does peck on the trees, but that's not good. This new tree that I got, and that's not really, well, the foil is that got in with the coffee grounds, and it must have been in there where I couldn't see it. I do dump the coffee grounds I get from a local coffee company, and I normally cut the little zip ties off the bags, but it looks messy, but I throw it down to nourish the trees and keep them moist. We've been in a drought, and so I'm going to be putting lots of coffee grounds down, rabbit manure, and I would put wood chips down. The problem is the turkeys come and scratch. The only thing I can do is if I put some boxes down over that and then put the wood chips on the top, then I would have to put some fencing around to keep the turkeys from scratching, which it's not a bad thing. It would also keep the deer from rutting on my tree. This is a brand new tree this season, and I've got to cut this a little bit, but I don't want the deer tearing this up either. So I have a long road ahead of me, and I will be taking you guys with me. I will be doing a series. I have to kind of wait till these trees go dormant and take you along on my journey of restoring the orchard after a wildfire. All right, y'all. Wendy at Hardneck Farms, take care. Thought real quick I could show you these. I had worked on trying to keep these trees right here, these newer ones that were put in this spring. Actually, the spring before. They need, the mulch real good and taken care of. I've had to cut them back quite a bit. So that one, and I got some more over here, and it looks like one of them got taken out already. Doggone it. Probably the deer. Let's see, yeah, they knocked that one down. So this is just basically rootstock. This was a pink lady apple. You can tell where it got broke. So I can try and get some pink lady rootstock and go from there. Cut the sucker off of it. Doggone it. But anyway, probably these are planted too close anyway. I really need to get a new area for future orchard trees. And as you can tell, this one, we let it go because every year it kept producing fruit, and this last year it was just loaded with peaches, and it broke. And then my husband took out the other one over there and the one over there. So I lost, well, not that one, but that one over there. So I lost 3 peach trees total this year. One was in the garden, but you can tell when it gets gooey like that, that's borer damage. So that's what I said. When it burned, the fire burned up that tree, I should have just took it out. But I didn't. And that one, the same thing. The same thing happened to this one as well. There's some rootstock there for that tree to be coming up. I don't know. We may just have to cut it at the base and then just put some vinegar and salt down in there so we can just get it out of the ground. I don't know that I'll plant another one there. because it would be too close to this one in reality. So I will be taking coffee grounds and all kinds of natural resources to kind of nourish these trees during the winter, help keep that ground moist and keep them from drying out, and it also adds a little heat. So anyway, thought I'd show you some of the newer trees, and yeah, I don't know that I'll be putting any more fruit trees in this orchard right here. So I do have a cherry orchard, and it's in a different area, and I'll probably be adding more to that. So talk at you later. Got a lot of work to do. Bye.